Hi lovelies, so welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda's channel. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, to my channel members, you guys are the real MVP. Alright lovelies, let's dive into today's video. So lovelies, I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok and I thought to share with you guys where this sister was actually saying, crying to the fact that a pan-colored man stood her up. Like, it was actually a date and she was out here crying all because this man stood her up in a lake. Like, the popular lake that is known for its historical horror stories. I'm just gonna roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts and let's dive into it.
So I just got stood up for the first time and it's so crazy because I did not see the red flags. He completely did a 180. He basically told me that he wanted to meet me at Lake Lanier out of all places, and told me to be there at 5. And I got there at 5 and I texted him. I said I'm here, and he was like, oh well, I won't be there until 6. A whole hour later. So I let him know, like, hey, that's not cool. And I said it in this tone, that's not cool, that's one of my big pet peeves, like, you can't be an hour late. He proceeds to tell me to go home and that he wasn't coming anymore. And so I'm at this haunted ass lake being stood up by a white boy. Basically the first white boy I've ever dated. And yeah, I'm just really afraid to open my heart up because this is the type of stuff that happens to lover girls.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is why European American men, Caucasian men in the United States, this is why they feel like gods. This is a black woman complaining about being stood up by a white man at a location that is publicly known by everyone in America as the perfect place to go unalive someone. Her little Caucasian babe. Y'all be saying they do dinners, they pay for chickens, they pay for what? He told her to go meet him at a fucking lake for a first date. At a lake that every year multiple people disappear at. He stood her up and she's on here upset. He could have showed up. We would have had another, what's it called? Shadi Robinson. And then the next day, our black women would have had amnesia and would have gone right back to, oh my God, white men are the best. Black men, again, we need to separate. We do not belong together anymore. This is not malicious. This is just culturally, we as a people, we don't belong together anymore.
You know, it's people like this that make me stand by the statement I made for nearly 30 years about how I say that black men and black women who deal with white people are not the smartest white people, not the smartest of our people. I don't understand how these people get so much of a big following on social media sites when they have the brain of a smashed pea. Like I said before, and I'm going to say it again, I stand by it, that black men and black women who date Caucasians or who are interested in Caucasians are not the smartest people. Now, you have black women have this big campaign about not going out on a Cheesecake Factory date with black men, but you're willing to meet a white man at a lake. And you don't even just the fact that the history of that lake should have been your deal breaker. Yet you still press on. And you got stood up by this white man at this lake. But you wouldn't have let a black man take you to Cheesecake Factory without some problems. Or you wouldn't have a black man couldn't have took you out on a date less than $100, or it would have been a whole international incident online. But this white man invites you to a lake. He stood you up. And you okay with this and you're crying about that? You know what? This is why I say, once again, my statement of why black men and black women who date white people are not the smartest people. You're willing to lose your self-respect just to be in a bedroom or just to be accepted by these people. But we wouldn't dare A black man wouldn't dare ask a black woman to go out on a lake. It would have been a whole international incident. But because we cause white people white privilege, we'll meet them on Mount Everest if we could. See, this is what I've been saying about why I have zero respect for black men and black women who date out, because y'all will accept anything from them just because they're white that you would never dare to accept if that was a black person. That's wild to me, man. And you got goofy behind black people praising and cheering and advocate for interracial dating. And y'all get played by white people like this. And it's funny, you know what I noticed? Why is it when that white woman or that white man play y'all like a PlayStation, y'all turn a blind eye and get amnesia about them? You know what's wild about how black people tend to get amnesia about the 400 years? That's why I say I'm looking at all this white privilege we be accosting white people just for the sake of being either beside them or in their bedroom. That we're willing to overlook 400 years to find love and acceptance from a people that don't even respect us enough to give us not only reparation. Hell, even in that Constitution, they still refer to us as 3/5 humans, and we still want to lay down and be accepted by these people. Again, and I'm going to say this again for another time, that black men and black women who date white people who are interested in dating are not the smartest people in the world. And this sister just proved my case time and time again. I don't even have to look for interracial situations like this. I just have to scroll on social media long enough and I'll find another example of incompetence on the behalf of black people when they're trying to be accepted by white folks.
Accessory? You want to give Lake Lanier an accessory? Georgia's Lake Lanier has claimed over 200 lives. Why do people believe it's haunted? Because it is. So if you don't know the history of Lake Lanier, let me give you a little synopsis. Before Lake Lanier, there was a town called Oscarville, filled with African American ranchers, blacksmiths, farmers. They specialized in poultry. They were thriving until 1912, when May Crow, a 19-year-old, was found unalived and raped near the woods of Oscarville. Well, you already know there wasn't a trial. You already know it would only take one reason, one thing for these people to gather in a group, create a mob, get their pointy hats, and go down and burn some shit up. This is George Rucker. He's a direct descendant of Oscarville. And he is alive to tell the story of his great-grandfather, Bird Oliver. So the day that May Crow was found unalive, a mob got together and decided that they were going to burn down the whole town, and that's what they did. They burned, they pillaged, they raped, they unalive. They did everything they possibly could to black people to get them ran off this land. Well, while trying to take coverage, a lot of Oscarville people ran into their church, which they set on fire. So they had to get out the church, so they headed towards Chattahoochee River with the mob on their asses. Once they got to Chattahoochee River, you only had two options. Either you face the mob or you jump into the river and you pray that you make it. And half of those people could not swim. And according to Bird Oliver, he lost a lot of his family, his brothers, his sisters. His father had to give up 100 acres of his land. They had to run all the way to Gainesville. Yes. So let me set the record straight. 200 people is not what Lake Lanier has claimed. It's over 700 people. 500 plus was Oscarville. So after claim the town, they decided they were going to divide it up and take the properties. The properties they didn't want, they gave to the government. The government decided that they were going to flood the city with bodies still down there, not buried, not anything. Flood the city for hydroelectric power. Baby, no. And this is why we as black people should never get on this slide.
Like, seriously, lovies, I totally understand, the dating cycles and everything that has to do with relationships and ups and downs, And it also said that if you can get from your own, you can actually also try out there. You don't know where you might actually find love. But I'm just so concerned with the fact that this Caucasian man, decided to have a meeting in the said Lake Lanier, like the lake that has a horrific historic background. Like I went ahead to look up, on the lake and all the historical background, associated with the lake, and it happened that this lake has a very, terrible story behind it.
it was actually said that it was a city that is owned by a black, community. Like it's a black city, or it's a black, neighborhood, and all of a sudden, these pan-colored people decided to invade on these people, took away everything, on a life, so many, and flooded them. And this came about the lake. And now a lot of people, because I looked it up, a lot of people are saying that this lake claims a lot of people. Like people have been, missing, people, drown in such lake, and there is something like a cemetery underneath the lake. Like even the stories, I was even scared reading about it. I was so scared of, the historical background associated with it, with the fact that it is actually, a black town that these, people invaded, destroyed, and flooded the bodies. Oh my gosh. And this pan-colored man decided that it was ideal for him to tell you to meet him up in the said lake, sister. And you don't even want to think about, you don't want to think about it. Like, don't you see that this is a sign? A sign, like God gave you a chance to live. Like, it is a sign. Maybe probably he decided not to actually be so hurtful with you. Like, this actually remind me of a particular video that I stitched one time about a sister with a pan-colored person that she met online on a dating app, and they decided to get acquitted and all of that. And this pan-colored man invited this sister to his home for a dinner or a lunch or whatsoever. And upon the invitation, the sister got missing. That story is still up. I think I have forgotten the name of this young man. And the sister got missing. Then the sister's, colleague at workplace started asking about her, because, of course, she couldn't report at work. Before you know it, her phone was traced. Her last location was actually at the pan-colored man's house. Before you know it, it was said that this man had a hand. He does that to a lot of black women. He has an underground garage where he performs all his miracles. And oh my goodness, with the story behind that location, for someone to actually tell you to meet up there, and all of a sudden he tells you that, okay, just go home. Is it not telling you something? It is that, like, we really need to watch out. We really need to watch out. I'm not disputing the fact that there are no nice people out there. There are not interracial or nice, that works out. But sis, you really need to be very careful. Like, black women need to be very careful. Seriously, black women need to be very careful. A lot of black women are choosing to be with bears because of something like this. Why would he even choose such a location? I don't have a problem with whoever I want to go out with, date with, but you should actually do, someone whose ancestors did something like that to your ancestors in the same, like, the story is just something that is so scary that I don't even want to think about it. There is a level at which God will give you a sign, then you don't even need to shed tears. All you need to do is, oh, thank you, God, for, like, maybe something might even happen. Nobody knows. Because the heart of people, the heart of men, the heart of human beings are wicked. Seriously, lovelies. When I saw this video, I was like, oh my gosh. We should actually know the kind of risk we are exposing ourselves to. I know, relationship and all of that is a tough one out there. A lot of people looking for companion and all of that, a lot of heartbreak, and everyone looking for someone that they can be happy with. But when we do that, we need to do that with caution. We need to be very careful. When I saw this video, I was like, I'm just going to put it up here because you never might know whom you might be saving. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And if you know more about this, lake, because I looked at it up and the stories I read about it, I think people shouldn't even go close to the lake. Leave me your own thought in the comment section, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.
And if you have watched up to this extent, thank you so much for all the love and support. Why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. Alright, lovely, please share this video, subscribe, and I will see you lovely when I upload the next one.